to Cathy Derksen. She is a disruptor, a catalyst, an accelerator. Oh my goodness, she's all about helping women reignite their life. So very much like we have just been sharing, she is all about helping people find their courage to take that leap. And I love that phrase. You know, it's like, yes, we've been talking about that already. Have the courage. How do you, hopefully she'll share. I can't tell her what she's going to be sharing about. She's just already smiling at me. But how do we actually, get that moment to go, right, now is my time. Hopefully everyone, now is your time, just from being here today, sitting here, listening in wherever you are in the world, and go, you know what, I'm going to take a bit of a leap because I want to bring life into my life, right? I want to bring purpose into my life. So Cathy Derksen is a woman who has dedicated her work to helping women around the globe tap into their own brilliance and stepping into new possibilities. And that's exactly what we are doing here today. She has a company called Inspired Tenacity, and that was born from her desire to make life-changing tools and strategies that are then accessible to women around the world. Across her platform, she helps everyone find their voice, share their stories, inspire others. We are on the same page there for sure, and that's what I absolutely love it. I've got so many people in my network, so many of my fellow speakers actually doing their version of empowerment in different areas of the globe, and we all support each other in doing so, because we all do it in our own unique way, with our own power, with our own purpose. And those of you who are attending, you will then relate to different ones of us, and which is so fantastic. So I'm going to hand over to you now, Cathy.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Annie. I love this group of speakers. I think we're all just soaking up all the wisdom. So I'm so happy to be here. And yes, you and I share a lot of our dreams and how we approach things. We both have found books to be a wonderful way to support other women to share their stories and step into new possibilities. And that's really become a big thing for me. And as Annie mentioned, the name of my company is Inspired Tenacity. And so the name of this summit, with grit and grace, to me, they just blend together perfectly, because that is, to me, where Inspired Tenacity came. That those are some of the ingredients for making big changes in our life. We need that inspiration, and we need that tenacity, and we also need that grit, and we need that grace. And as Annie mentioned, the other word that I always love to bring in is courage. I think courage is one of the key components for us to really take on these changes. And we've heard from so many women already today how they have really stepped into something new. They've brought that courage in their life. And one of the books that I had out earlier this year was called Embrace Courage. And a big part of that was really pointing out that courage isn't just about rushing into the burning building to save the child. Courage is what we do every day. And especially when we look at women in general, and my main focus is around midlife women, because I find that so many of us are feeling stuck in, what am I doing next? We've spent years and decades looking after everybody else and doing a job because it fit our family, and not really necessarily looking at what we want to do with our life. And so a big part of my focus is really helping women to see that we've got decades left to go. We need to plan to live into our 90s, and I see our 50s, 60s, 70s, even into our 80s as the time for us to be stepping into what excites us, stepping into those new possibilities, and creating things that really, in a way, are legacy, but the things that really excite us. And one of my favorite quotes, I'm just going to bring it up on the screen so I have it in front of me. It's a Howard Thurman quote. And he said, "Don't ask what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive. Then go do that, because what the world needs is more people who have come alive." And I really think that that's something the world needs right now too. I think the more that we each do focus on what excites and inspires and brings us to life, that becomes contagious. And one of the things I also love to remind people of, that courage is contagious. When we step into something different and new and inspiring, and when we have that courage to step up and say, this is who I am, this is what I'm bringing to the world, it really does give the people around us permission to do the same. And so to me, embracing courage, looking for how can we be courageous in our life so we can help others be courageous in their life. And, looking too at, as especially midlife women, how do we make big changes in our life? How do we step into things that seem so foreign to us? And when I look at my life, I've gone through 2 major career changes. My original career was in medical genetics. Then I went into financial planning with that goal of really helping women change their life. And as many of you might imagine, after years of doing that, I realized I still wasn't having the impact that I wanted to have and really helping women change their life. And that's when I made the next big career change and started my own business. So Inspired Tenacity has really given me the opportunity to create, how do I support other women? How do I bring that energy and that change that I think is so important to us? And having opportunities like this, like Annie, I'm so glad you're bringing this together. You're giving us this opportunity to each speak about what we're passionate about, to support each other. And to me, one of the key ingredients that really got me through all these transitions was community. So the more we can connect with other women around the world, other people speaking of different things and really learning and absorbing new information, to me, that's what it is. It's community. And I have built a global community. And yes, COVID, I see that as one of the big benefits that COVID did bring, that it did force us all to get on camera, to get comfortable hanging out with each other. And now it's just a normal day for me to be hanging out with my UK friends in the morning and my Aussies in the afternoon. And I'm on the west coast of Canada. So we're all here having fun. So Annie, thank you very much for bringing us all together.
It is such a joy. I'm like you. How cool is it that I know COVID was terrible and we're not going to go there, but like the other flip side is, oh my goodness, we get to have all these beautiful friendships forming, conversations. That's it, all day, every day. You could be anywhere in the world, and that sense of true, genuine friendships and communities, friendships building within those communities is just such a blessing. It really is. It is so wonderful. And you know what? Sometimes that person that needs to be in your world is on the other side of the world. We have been so limited and so structured. If I look back the way I was raised, it's kind of like your friends are supposed to be the ones in your local community. Or then suddenly, I loved it when I had kids. It's suddenly like as if your best friends all happen to have just birthed their child at the same time, and you've met them in your mother's group, and you're supposed to then be their best friend for the next 10 or 15 years. Like, it's crazy, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with those friendships. But for those of you who are actually going, that's right, other people don't get me, I'm not in that space, it's probably right. You're probably in the wrong pond, or you haven't found your people, right? And that's the great thing about global communities, that you can hear speakers, you can meet up, you can come to webinars, you can just suddenly you just go, oh, I get you. I like you, like we're in that same space. And you suddenly, you find sisters from another mister everywhere, right? And it's just it's just joy when you actually meet and find people. And it's a bit like finding your beautiful smiley face, Cathy. And thank you so much for sharing, because I know as soon as I met you and Carol and Connie and others that I've met really just over the last couple of years, just due to our connections. And then the most incredible thing is once you meet some beautiful people, I tell you what, their friends are generally beautiful as well. And it's just like this snowballing effect of, oh my goodness, don't you know this person? And I tell you who's a queen of introductions also is Deb Drummond, who we will hear from a little bit later. She's just like, she just sends off these messages. Annie, have you met this amazing lady? And it is just so great. And I also partner with Leadership Global, and a number of you are part of that organization as well. And it's very much that women are aligning. We're joining forces as a real power to help each other lift, to help each other rise in our own way, and to do that with grace and true love. And our goal is that you're all just finding who you authentically are and what that means and what you can lean into, and there's always something that you can do. I love what you shared too, Cathy, that it's not about talking about what you want to do. It's actually you going, well, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm leaning. I'm going to take some steps, brave steps, bold steps, use that courage. And then suddenly it's like, yeah, this is what I now do. I don't just talk about what I want to do. I actually do it. And hats off to you, because you're doing an absolutely fantastic job there.